What we can learn from Taiwan in the COVID-19 pandemic Part 2. The current crisis offers many opportunities to question yourself. When I first heard about corona parties in German cities, I found the behavior puerile, childish and irresponsible, but I could understand something about it. The desire to show the virus the middle finger. Not participating in the alarmism of others, freeing yourself from debilitating fear and simply continuing to live life as before. If only the virus were human, it would say, "I like you that way." A few days ago, the mobile phone video circulated from a German supermarket on Taiwanese television, and there was a loud dispute over toilet paper. Shaking heads in the evening round-table discussion. The fluctuations between nonchalance and panic, between corona parties and hoarding purchases are difficult for local observers. Too striking is the contrast to the patience with which Taiwanese queue in front of pharmacies, often in vain, to pick up the 3 face masks that everyone is entitled to each week. Nevertheless, the common denominator is obvious: my party, my toilet paper. With us, everyone thinks of themselves during the crisis. People report to the authorities to report home quarantine. On the 8th day after returning to Taiwan, I get caught. Given the out-of-control situation in Europe, the government retroactively orders a fortnightly home quarantine for anyone who entered after March 5. Most recently, the numbers had risen sharply due to returning tourists. There are now a total of 100 infected. From a German point of view, these are fantastic figures. Here the government and the population saw an equal need for action. For me this means that I am not allowed to leave my narrow one-room apartment for 6 days. My first thought, is this checked? Couldn't I at least go jogging in the evening as before? The individualistic instincts work. A little later my friend sends me a number where I can register as a quarantine case. No excuses. Although thousands must be affected by the regulation, my call is put through immediately. Now I am officially registered and can expect unannounced controls. The next day an urban worker rings the doorbell. I am given face masks and a form on which I can now record my state of health. The penalties for violations are also listed, because this measure is not a mere recommendation. Anyone who violates the quarantine requirements is guilty according to Section 58 of the Law on the Control of Communicable Diseases and has to face fines of the equivalent of 3,000 to 30,000 euros. The employee explains that they will call me twice a day and ask about my condition. I nod courteously. I hide the evil intention of jogging when I get cabin fever behind the smile. It is later announced that the new measure will affect around 16,000 people. After the announcement, the vast majority contacted the authorities on their own initiative to register their home quarantine. Would that have happened in Germany? In total, around 35,000 Taiwanese are isolated at home, including not a single confirmed case of infection, because they have to go to the clinic here. Without exception. The capacities are far from exhausted. At the weekend, the number of cases in Germany is approaching the 100,000 mark, in Taiwan it is 363. Furthermore, new cases are almost exclusively returners from abroad. You can also be free and disciplined together. I'm trying to get used to quarantine life. I answer my control call twice a day, which usually only lasts a few seconds. Are you all right? All right. The truth is that after 3 or 4 days I feel that being locked in is a burden. Outside it is 30 degrees on Sunday, the next park is right on my doorstep and is still inaccessible. Inwardly I struggle with my situation, because I am completely healthy, I think. Do I still have to comply with the regulations? For most Taiwanese, it seems that the rules adopted apply without any ifs and buts. For me they are a challenge that I work through mentally. I want to get out of here. No, I have to get out of here. It is unnecessary to lock up healthy people in the apartment, so I have the right to go outside. As if by itself, my thoughts tend to translate subjective needs into something that is objectively mine. I still adhere to the requirements, also so as not to burden the quarantine at home with arguments. Despite the low number of cases, many Taiwanese companies are introducing home offices, including the publisher where my friend works. At the beginning of the new week we have to share the only desk in the apartment. I get it in the morning, it in the afternoon. My friend, like many Taiwanese people, is suspicious of the fact that people in Germany criticize what is good for everyone, for example curfews, from the standpoint of individual rights. Is it really about the high value of fundamental rights, or is it just about private selfishness? In any case, this is the hour of basic duties towards the community in times of crisis. Even if this is difficult to quantify, I see a greater willingness in Taiwan to put personal needs aside for the common good. If it serves everyone, then me too, I often hear. I'm torn again. To ask whether the massive restriction of individual liberties is legitimate and proportionate is not a liberal thing for me. At the same time, I see that a different but nonetheless democratic ethos has prevented the Taiwanese from having to consider such drastic measures as curfews at all. Obviously, you can also be free and disciplined together. In any case, here in Taiwan the crisis has clearly strengthened social cohesion. As a non-member of the WHO, the country is cut off from its flow of information. Beijing wants it that way and the world unfortunately obeys. Taiwan is rightly proud that Taiwan is still internationally recognized for its crisis management. Above all, they feel safe at home. As of April 6, 2020, according to Johns Hopkins CSSE, Germany has 100.123 confirmed infections and 1,584 deaths. In Taiwan there are 363 infections and 5 deaths. The dramatic situation in the US, Italy and Spain is well known. Nobody in Taiwan believes that Europe will soon get a grip on the situation. When experts go through scenarios with up to 10 million infected people in Germany alone, Taiwanese do not perceive it as healthy realism. They see it as admitting defeat in light of their own incorrigibility. According to the motto, with us Germans, an effective fight against the virus is not possible anyway. My girlfriend recently said to me, if everyone thought like you, we would soon have European conditions here. The term European conditions currently sounds rather bleak. An old place of longing that has been unmasked by recent events. P.S. I didn't go jogging after all.